Hey, everybody, it's Rob here for a little bit of a different BSPU call, and happy to be on with all of you. I'm going to be doing a couple of things. I'm going to be, for the first couple of minutes, sharing what we're doing and what this Wall Street Journal and or USA Today a bestseller offer uh, is going to be. I'm going to share with you details of it. And I want to spend maybe a couple of minutes, maybe before, maybe after as well, and talk about doing something like this as a concept and you learning from it from the standpoint of how you might implement something like this in your business and use some of the things that I've done to help your clients and also create an offer and do something cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen with you. And let me first go to Facebook and refresh everybody's memory about what we're talking about. And then I'm going to go through the details of it. So let's share the screen. Okay. So as you maybe know or remember or don't, if you're just jumping on this because you got the email and you don't know what I mean by Wall Street Journal and or USA Today bestseller, but on October 30th, as you can see right there, I made a post, and the post was this update wasn't there. The post said, for the most part, I would like some feedback and I would like some information from you. I'd like to know if you have an interest. And then I made a very simple, what Joel Irway would call power offer. And that was a training that we did in one of the challenges. And that power offer was simply, if I could guarantee you would become a Wall Street Journal bestseller and or USA Today bestseller, as well as Amazon, of course. And this is with a new book that you and others are a part of. Would you be interested? And then, of course, I had even information on what the cost of this would be. I changed this. I said it would be from $6,000 to $10,000, and then I put an image of Publish, Promote, Profit, and the rankings on Wall Street Journal, as well as my little award there. As you may or may not know, it was a very, very positive. Look at that. The LinkedIn calls are getting booked for the guys. What that was all about. And some of you are just getting started with LinkedIn, which is cool. Anyway, it was a very positive response. As you can see, there were over 200 comments. Many of those comments are me replying back, but probably between that and an email I sent, and this is just in my client-only group. So this is just you, my paying clients. I had around 70 people respond back that you were very interested in this offer. Now, I'm going to take the majority of the time and share with you what the offer is, because more than half of the spots are already gone, and there's about 10 left. So if you're interested, my expectation is that all the rest of them are going to be gone just from this call. But what I want to do, maybe more importantly, for those of you that are not going to take me up on this offer, is just share for a few minutes how you might think through recreating something like this for yourself. So first and foremost, the post that I made in the Facebook group was a true and legitimate post, meaning that I did not know when I made this post on October 30th whether or not I would make this offer to you. I really did not know. I have been wanting to for a long time. And I had personally been wanting to become a Wall Street Journal and or USA Today bestseller for a long time. I've been doing bestseller publishing for going on 10 years now. And of course, I launched my first book back in 2008 and 9. So, I love, obviously, the success that we have with Amazon. But we all know that if we could hit the bigger list, then it does add to our credibility, especially a publisher like myself, an author. And especially if you are a speaker, a coach, a consultant, you want to appear on media, etc. Hitting the bigger list matter. So I've been wanting to do something like this for a while, but it's very, very difficult and very costly to do it. So I came up with an idea, and I wanted to present it to you first because you're my ideal clients, right? You took me up on the original offer of becoming a client of Bestseller Publishing. And so in every way, you are my ideal client. So I wanted to see if this would resonate with you. I actually ran this by my private coaching mastermind group, meaning a group that I am a part of. There's 8 of us in it that are all peers. We travel around, we spend time together, fantastic group of guys. And none of them were excited about it. And I was like, okay, I mean, I really thought this would be cool. And so I said, well, I guess I'm going to shelve it. And this was like back in late September. I said, all right, I guess I'm going to shelve it. And then, a week went by, I thought about it, 2 weeks by, 3 weeks went by, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask my clients, why am I asking these doofuses, who are not doofuses, they're great guys. Why am I asking them? Let me ask you. And of course, the response was pretty overwhelming. So after I got the response, I needed to, number 2, really kind of count the cost for me personally, because what I was offering and what I am offering is basically a very risk-free type of thing for you, very risk on for me, meaning that, I'm going to refund everybody if we don't hit Wall Street Journal and or USA Today bestseller. And that means that, I've had to come out of pocket with tens of thousands, maybe $40,000 to $50,000 that I'm never going to recoup. So I really had to count the cost because I've never done this before and make sure. Now, I've done it on my own personal book, but I've never done it like in an offer like this. And so, counted the cost, did the research, and felt like, okay, this is something that I really can do. That took a couple of weeks. And then, as you know, just last week, I basically updated this post and went back to every single person and said, hey, I'm going to do it. And I sent you a private message and or an email. Plus, I made another post that got buried somewhere right down here with a little bit more details on what it was all going to be like, and said that I would do this call to share the specifics and answer every question that you may or may not have. So for those of you that are not joining this, but you want to kind of learn and maybe implement something like this for yourself, number one, the thing that I would say that is a learning experience on an ongoing basis for me in my business is, in some ways, it doesn't matter what your coach says, what your peer group says, what the smartest people say. What matters is what your audience, your potential client, it matters what you say in my business, not the smartest guys, quote unquote, and girls, quote unquote, I know. You proved all of them wrong because I made the post and it was like, piranha. It was like, wow, I thought they would be interested in this. And so, if you have an idea or you have a thought about anything, whether it's the title of your book, whether it's, a new book that you want to write, a new offer, obviously, that you want to make, it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what, your coach says that you're paying $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 a year. It matters most importantly, of course, we'll try to give the best advice we can, but it matters most importantly what your potential client says. It matters most what your audience says. So if you have an idea or a thought, I would say, if you have a group of past clients and they're in an email list or they're in a Facebook group, et cetera, then a very non-threatening way for you to get some feedback and potentially make a great offer that you could sell out very, very quickly is to just ask them in a very non-threatening way. Like, tell the truth. Say, I don't know if I'm going to do this or not. I think it's a good idea, but you let me know what you think about it. And even put a very attractive price point on it. That way, you'll have a lot of people like, look, we had 70 70 plus people respond, but not all 70 of those people, after we had communication, even though I made it really clear what it is that I was offering, not all of those 70 people are going to take me up on it. And some of them are going to be left out and want to take me up on it because we are capping it at 20, and we have to cap it at 20. And I'll explain that in just a second. Anyway, the point that I'm making is you can recreate this exact same thing in your own business, and you should. Anytime you want to test something, anytime that you have an idea, you should go before your current clients, past clients, your audience, and ask them what they think. They will give you feedback, and you will know by the response rate whether or not you have a winner. Okay. So I'm happy to share more about that in the future, but I felt like it was at least important enough for me to share that because this post and the things that we do, I hope, are also learning experiences for you so that you can potentially implement these in your own business as well. Let me take a minute now and let me go over the details of this offer. And I can't see the chat. So if you have a question as we go, then type it in the chat and I'll come back to it. Here is what we're rolling out. It is for us to do an anthology book together, which means this is 20 authors maximum. The reason being is because we really can't go over 200 pages. So what I'm looking for is every author that comes on to write 2,000 words or so, can be 1,500, but no more than 2,000. I think the agreement says 2,500, though I would prefer 2,000, because we need to stick to around 200 pages maximum for this launch for us to most effectively. Remember what I've shared with you. Consumption and purchases of your book fall off dramatically when your book begins to be over 175 to 200 pages. So because we're going flooding this book, this offer to millions of emails, and it's going to be in front of potentially millions of people, we need the greatest response rate possible. And if this is 250 or 300 pages, we're not going to have the greatest response rate. So it's got to be under 200 pages. That's why we're capping it at 20 authors. Okay. So this is not a fake scarcity thing. 20 authors is the max that we can do because everyone is going to do 8 to 10 pages. At the moment, the working title is The Expert's Cure: How Entrepreneurs Can and Are Changing the World. Now, I also played around with the idea of the entrepreneur cure: how experts can and are changing the world. Obviously, I don't want to repeat entrepreneurs twice or experts twice. Now, why did I choose this? I chose this for two reasons, and I'm open to your thoughts and suggestions, but the buck will stop with me on this. The reason I chose this is twofold. Number one, we're still in the COVID era, and this idea of cure is timely, right? From a media standpoint, from, a people being interested standpoint. And this whole idea of changing the world is, of course, trendy, especially coming off the presidential election, which evidently still hasn't ended, or maybe it has, or who knows, depending on who you ask. So number one, the idea is cure and changing the world is very timely. The number two idea is we do have an eclectic group that is a part of this. How can we not? Because you're all my clients, and some of you are writing on, topics that are related to corporations and business, and others of you are writing on topics that are completely different, whether finance or real estate or whatever. So what I wanted this to be about was you to write 8 to 10 pages that are maybe one or two client success stories, et cetera, but you showcasing your magic. Okay. You showcasing how what you teach, what you do, what you believe really does make a difference in people's lives. That's it. What you do does make a difference in people's lives. I know that you believe that because you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't believe it. So I wanted to make it generic enough for you to have the flexibility to say, you know what, my thing is changing people's lives, and here is how it is. Okay. You can add one or two, client success stories, or even just your own personal success story. Doesn't matter to me. Again, 8 to 10 pages. So everyone writes a chapter, all 20 authors. This is going to be due in by December 31st. Okay. This is not going to drag out for months. It cannot, because I am going to have to pay for and schedule. You don't just get access to, millions of emails without like doing these massive paid campaigns that are like a month to 2 months out. So everything has to be complete on your end by December 31st. Now, we're going to coach. We're going to have, and I'll go through the agreement. You'll see that in just a second. But we're going to have, project managers available and people there. And plus, I'm going to have some group calls and help you think through everything. We're not going to write it for you. You're going to write it. But again, we're only talking about a long blog post, right? 1,500 words, 2,000 words. Once you give that to us by December 31st, we will edit it, proofread it, we will format it, we will design it, we will, of course, publish it. It will be published on both Amazon and Barnes & Noble. The reason is because we are going, and I guess this is an additional benefit that I didn't even mention, but for us to hit Wall Street Journal and or USA Today, we have to have sales from multiple sources coming in. So we will have links for Barnes & Noble and links for Amazon. So you're going to hit Amazon bestseller, and I mean way up there, maybe in the top 10 of the entire Amazon store during the week we launch it. But we're also going to hit the top of Barnes & Noble during the launch. When my book was launched, I was the #1 business book on all of Barnes & Noble. And of course, that's not what I was going for. I was going for Wall Street Journal and USA Today. But you'll get that as an added benefit as well. So again, everything in by December 31st. Then we go through the edit, the proofread, the format, the design. It's going to be published to both the Barnes & Noble platform and the Amazon platform. Okay. Once all of the launch is done, we will know within a week. You won't know immediately, but we'll know within a week if we hit and where we came up on the list for Wall Street Journal and or USA Today. So I will have the actual physical Wall Street Journal. I'll buy a bunch of copies for everybody so that you get a copy of that. We'll have, screenshots and all of that available. Okay. So all of that will be clear and proven and usable for you. What I'm also going to be doing is I'm going to send one press release out per author after the book is launched and made a Wall Street Journal or USA Today bestseller. And I'm going to announce you as a Wall Street Journal or USA Today or both or whatever. Okay. So you're going to have your own press release that we're doing. I felt like that would be a nice touch. And actually one of the authors that I brought on said, will you do that? And I said, yeah, it's a good idea. I'll do that. And we'll spend the money and make sure that we announce you. So that will be something that lives, how the press releases work. It'll be your name. It'll be your information tied to the Wall Street Journal and or USA Today. So that will be very, very high in the search engine rankings when people search your name, which is cool. Besides that, I'll send 10 copies to you of the book, and we'll have additional copies available at $5 a copy, simply because it's all going to be living in the bestseller publishing account. And anytime you want copies, we're going to have to order the copies and get them out to you and all of that. So you will pay for the copies as you need them, if you need them. You and your fellow authors will become a Wall Street Journal and or USA Today bestseller, or it's free, meaning I will give you a full refund. We hit the list and great. We're all thrilled. We don't hit the list and I'm sick to my stomach and I am refunding everybody and I am out of pocket for all of that. I figure I can't be more fair than that. And also, I want this to be an ongoing offer. I believe this is going to work. I would not take the risk if I didn't feel very, very strongly that this is going to work. And because of that, I think this is going to be a long-term offer and it's going to be in the $10,000 to $12,000 range. The investment is $6,000 in one payment or two payments of $3,500. I need to get paid right away. We can't do a long-term payment plan because I need to use that money for the paid advertising. And as I've said, I've got to organize this advertising months out. So again, we're looking to launch this earliest, best case will probably be early February. It'll probably be closer to late February that it actually does get launched. Right now we have, I don't know, maybe 10, maybe 8 or 9 spots of the 20 available, because I did reply back to everybody. I gave those of you that responded in the Facebook group, I gave you first opportunity. And many of you, or whatever, 8, 10, 12 of you took me up on it and got started. Congratulations. My plan is to do this again. I'm never going to do it again at this price point. Why would I? This is the first time. This is me sweating it out and figuring it out. And hopefully, creating an offer that's going to be very interesting to the market itself. I think this could be a 7-figure business within bestseller publishing all by itself. And of course, I'll show you the results and the things that we do once we roll this out with paid advertising down the road. Okay. So let me go to the chat, because I see that it looks like there's some questions. So let me see what the questions are on chat. Tina says, hi team, is Amy okay? I haven't heard back from her. As far as I know, she is. Let's double check. I'm sorry that you haven't heard back. Amy is usually like super responsive. Marcus says, Randy, Rob, we are in with Helena's Wonder Moms topic, if that's fine. Totally fine, Marcus. Absolutely fine. Randy, if you could get in touch with Marcus and get that all set, that would be great. Beverly says, are the authors paid a royalty, and are the books paperback or hardback? So great question. The authors are not paid a royalty. I think there will be some royalties, but not much, and not enough for me to worry about the organization of paying 20 authors out a royalty. It will cost me over 5 or 10 years. I'll be like kicking myself. So no royalty. This is, Beverly, for you and for everybody, because I've had a number of people ask me, well, how much money can we, are we going to make, et cetera, et cetera. This is like a very, very simple proposition. This is a way for you to exchange a small amount of money, and $6,000 is a small amount relative to you being a Wall Street Journal and or USA Today best-selling author legitimately, like really, like real sales, real marketing, a press release going out for you, et cetera. So this is about you using that real credibility along with the other book that we're doing for you or that you've done on your own, et cetera. Me being a 2-time Wall Street Journal best-selling author, et cetera. You being a Wall Street Journal best-selling author and the author of blah, 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 whatever. And you using that to negotiate higher speaking fees, to get more opportunities for speaking. It is a significant amount of credibility to do that. That's the idea. Austin says, Rob, there's 9 spots left. Great. I don't know if that included Marcus or not, so maybe there's 8. Marcus says, the tactical approach is very valuable for our business. Thanks for sharing that. You are welcome. Let's see what else there is. Rob, count me in. Let's discuss detailed sidebar. That's Khaled, I think. Okay, Khaled, you got it. Happy to do that. Alfredo says, does this apply if the book is in Spanish? Well, the book won't be in Spanish, Alfredo. The book will be in English. And this does not apply to your book. Okay. This is only to this new book that we're doing. So several of you had some confusion about, or you asked me, Rob, could we do this for my book? We could do this for your book, but it will cost about $40,000 in additional to what you've already paid. And I know that you go, well, that's a lot of money. Well, yeah. And that's why we're doing this as an anthology, right? For some people, it's worth it, but for others of you, it's not. And I completely understand that. So if you are interested in me doing this for your book down the road, and you understand it is going to be an additional $40,000 investment, where most of that, I mean, there's a little bit of profit there, but not much. Most of that is in the actual paid advertising that needs to happen to get, remember, we got to get 10,000 sales going to both Barnes and Noble and Amazon on 2 different links. There's a lot involved here. Let's see. Judy says, Rob, I'd love to do it. Awesome, Judy. Fantastic. So Randy, David, Austin, if you could set Judy up, that would be fantastic. Dr. Atusa, hi guys. I just responded with a yes via email replying to Rob's private message saying I am in, sign me up. Sounds good, Dr. Atusa. Same thing, Randy, David, Austin, if you guys could take care of that. Steve says, Rob, I'm in. I've already begun writing. I love that. That's exciting. Fantastic. Dr. Tusa sent an email replying to you, Rob. Okay, got it. Got it. I didn't see your email. I'm sorry about that. Maybe it was while I was working on this stuff. Bashir, there are 8 spots left, Rob. We will take one. So there's probably less than 8 spots now, Bashir. So sounds great. Austin, again, if you could kind of quarterback this and be looking at the chat box and make sure that, that we're counting off, because it can't take more than 20. Joe says, do the authors have their name on the front of the book? Thank you for asking that. You will not, Joe, but you'll have it on the back of the book. It's too many authors to put it on the front of the book. It will look a little ridiculous, and it does need to look good for people to buy it. The cover is important. But you will have your name on the back of the book. So yes, we're going to be doing that. Plus, you're going to have a bio, and no reason not to have a picture with your chapter. So your chapter, probably the end of your chapter, will have, your bio, whatever you want your bio to look like, including links that you want people to go to. Totally fine. And we can do a picture as well, I guess. Let me think about that just to make sure, we want it to be great. And so maybe pictures would, I don't know, maybe they'd be a good idea. Maybe they're not. Let me think about that, but certainly your bio. Michael says, already signed up, Rob. Congrats, Michael. I did see that, so welcome. When ballpark timeframe is the bestseller featured expected to be live? It'll be like the week after our launch, Michael. So if we're looking at a late February launch, then we're going to be doing, getting a week after that, the Wall Street Journals and the USA Today and all that, and we'll see it on the list at that time. So at this point, I'm thinking late February for the launch. I was told we could do it as soon as late January. I just don't know that we can be ready by late January, because because some of you are going to straggle in. I know how you are. You're going to wait till December 31st to send it in. And listen, let me just say this just as nicely as I can and as firmly as I can. If you get this to us past December 31st, and listen, we're going to probably be emailing and calling you every day that last week of the year if you haven't gotten it in. But if you get it in past that date, you're not in the book and you're not getting refunded because you've taken somebody else's spot. So you have to commit to getting it written, and you have 6 weeks to get it written with our help. But it has to be in by December 31st. Okay. So that wasn't to you, Michael. That was to everybody. And that was me lovingly but firmly saying, and like I said, we'll probably be calling you, texting you, emailing you every day the last week of the month if it hasn't been in, because we don't want to leave anybody out. But by then, I will have already scheduled the launch date and paid for all the advertising. So we can't ever get that money back. We can't ever get that opportunity back. So the train will be leaving the station. I just want you to be on it. Let's see. Connie says, not doing it, but have some title feedback. Not interested in what can do to change the world. Would recommend how entrepreneurs are changing the world. Yeah, I like that. I'm open. I mean, what we will do for all of you who are joining is I will, send out 3 or 4 different kinds of surveys and ask you what you think, and we'll be flexible, right? I want this to be appealing, and we'll also ask our audience and suggest that you do the same, but it is going to be something along the lines of what I shared. Kim says, Rob, I'm in, signed, sealed, and delivered. Awesome, Kim. Welcome. Dr. Tiana, hi, Rob. I'd like to explore if my field is a fit. Sounds good. Dr. Tiana, I'd probably suggest that you ask me now and tell me what you're thinking, because I have a feeling that, all the spots are going to be gone by the time this is done, or at least within a day or two. So, you can see in the chat what's going on. Dave, okay, you'll reach out to Judy. Great. Austin, reach out to Dr. Tusa. Awesome. Randy, Bashir, and Marcus, thank you. Getting the agreements out. Appreciate that. Joe says, thanks. Kathy says 10,000 units, 65 cents per lead. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Kathy. We won't be sending them to an opt-in. They're going to go right to either the Amazon or the Barnes & Noble link. So we will not be collecting email addresses or anything. We can't afford for any of these people like not to be opted in. So yeah, so each one of, unfortunately, we're not going to get any of the buyer information on any of this. All we're trying to do is hit Wall Street Journal, USA Today. That's it. Cass says, will the author's name show up in Amazon? Yes, they will show up in Amazon. You will be an author in Amazon. Randy says, yes, sir, Michael, crush it. Judy, can you ask Rob if there will be a few big name celebrities? There will not, Judy. You are the big name celebrity. I am the big name celebrity. In other words, this is not a celebrity anthology book. This is a book that through sheer force and paid advertising, we're going to get the sales necessary. This is not like the old Kevin Harrington anthology books that I did. They had a place because it gave you a connection to Kevin Harrington or fill in the blank of the celebrity. But no, this is all about, like you being a bestseller without the celebrity influence. So good question. Bashir says, if we can get the book for $5 from BSP, what will the retail market rate price go for? Not sure if you stated that. Good question. I'm not 100% sure. This book will be sold. The digital version will be sold for 99 cents during the launch. So there really won't be much in the way of royalties anyway during that period of time. Maybe a couple $1,000 at the most. After that, we'll price it at whatever retail is, maybe for the digital book, like I suggest all of you, somewhere between $2.99 and $9.99. For the soft cover book, $15.95 to $24.95. The anthology books, just being quite honest, they don't, at least the ones that I've done with Kevin Harrington and other big name celebrities, I've not seen those books sell like crazy. They're more like you're using them afterwards and you use the credibility from the book itself, right? As I shared, this is a way, all this really is a way for you to legitimately hit the Wall Street Journal and USA Today list. That's the legitimacy of it. And it's not about the royalties, not about the royalties for me, not about the royalties for you. It's a way that we can together with our kind of power, hit the list. And that's the whole idea of it. Okay. So that's all the questions that I see there so far. Joyce says, thanks, Rob. You are welcome. So let me go. I want to actually show you the agreement and go through that with you. There's really not much more in the agreement than I already shared, but what the heck? Let's go through it together to make this like really, really clear. So the agreement, between me and Bestseller Publishing and you, a chapter of up to 2,500 words. I'd prefer 1,500 to 2,000 just to be on the safe side. Remember, we don't want this. It doesn't do any of us any good if the book is over 200 pages. Doesn't do us any good. It's more difficult. Content creation. So project management, you'll get up to 2 project management calls if you need it. So if you need an individual call with a project manager to work on your title, to work on the outline for your chapter, we'll give that to you. Okay. So you'll get individual calls if you need that. We will do a full copy edit of it. We'll also, of course, do the interior design, the formatting, the proofreading, the ISBNs, the cover design. We'll upload both to Amazon and to Barnes & Noble. So your book will be available in both places. And you'll get 10 printed copies, additional copies at $5 per copy, or cost, whichever is higher. It's typically going to be $3 for a copy. So $5 is just covering the hassle it is to deal with 20 of you guys and get books for you if you want. Hey, send me 10 books, Rob. Okay. So we'll have somebody set up doing that for you. What are you going to deliver? Ultimately you're going to deliver your chapter, but you're going to fill out the form. You don't need to come to any of the project management sessions. You just need to, this says submit your written content assignment within 24 hours. That is more applicable to our group coaching program. What we want more than anything is we want for the launch date is end of February. We want the rough draft to be submitted no later than December 31st, 2020. And if the chapter is not submitted by deadline, author chapter will not appear in the book and there is no refund. Okay. Because somebody has lost their place and because we've already spent the money on advertising. So please, let's not have this conversation on January 3rd, right? Like just get your chapter done, please. Once chapter is submitted, it'll be copy edited, then published. Promotion phase is really simple. Guaranteed to be a top 10. That's, no brainer. The real guarantee, it's guaranteed to make the Wall Street Journal best-selling list and or the USA Today bestseller list. Okay. And this is on video. We'll record this. I'll put this in the group. You'll get a full refund if we don't hit those lists. It's just that simple. I'm taking all the risk. Author will deliver, if you could get reviews, that would be great. We're going to have a soft launch phase. So we're going to try to get reviews. Obviously, we'd love you to try to get reviews, participate in that. And you already have access to, all of our trainings and all of that stuff. So that's it. It's really simple. The fine print basically says there's no refund if you don't get me the chapter by December 31st. That's basically what it says. In other words, if you're paying for it, please get me the chapter by December 31st because there's no going back here. There's no way for me to go back. Okay. Let's see here. Mark, I love the idea. However, my book has about the same publishing date. This will be great thereafter. Same publishing date doesn't matter, Mark. I mean, it makes no difference. Like you'll be a Wall Street Journal and USA and or USA Today bestseller. So that publishing date really doesn't matter at all. The fact that you're doing two at the same time, even more beneficial because you'll get even more attention because of the press release that we'll send out on your behalf. Beverly says, thank you. You're welcome. Let's see. Howard says, my wife is my business partner. Is it possible for the two of us to write the chapter together? Completely understand if that will not work, but if it is possible, count us in. Yeah, it's totally possible. I won't give you both chapters for, 2 for 1, but it is possible. And I don't see why we can't have both of you on the book as authors, you and your wife, same last name. I don't have an issue with that. I won't do that for partners, but I will do that for spouses. I think that that's fair because, I am a spiritual person. It does say the two shall become one. I've been married for 31 years. I get it. Cass says, please tell us a little bit more about the PR campaign for the book. So really, Cass, the only PR campaign for the book is going to be the press releases themselves. So we will send out 20 press releases. In other words, every author will get a press release, but the press release will primarily be about you and about your website, your other book, whatever it is that you want us to direct people to. I'm not worried about PR for the book because we're going to do enough marketing to lists and email drops to get the sales we need without the PR and the media. So really at this point, there's no plan to do PR and media on the book after the book launch. Now, as you know, we do that for our clients that pay for their PR and media campaign with their own books. But at this point, there's no plan to do that with this book. Hopefully that answers your question. Joyce says, I am in. Can it be inspirational? Can I use Bible scripture to enforce my reasoning? I have no problem with that, Joyce. It can absolutely be inspirational and it should be. Remember, this is about how you are changing the world. Right. And so, what you do, believe, teach, there should be examples, there should be things. So that in and of itself is very inspirational. So, I want people to be able to open up to any chapter. And of course, we will title the chapters in such a way that, your chapter will tell the story of your chapter, but hopefully in a very enticing way. So we'll spend some time coming up with good chapter titles, but I want somebody to be able to see your chapter and think, okay, I want to read this one because this is who I am. This is how I feel, etc. Whether you're in financial services or real estate, or you're a coach or a consultant or whatever it is that you are. So if someone could reach out to Joyce and take care of that, that would be great. Jeanette says, hi, Rob, juggling calls at the moment, but with you soon. Okay. Okay. Austin, I'll reach out to Joyce. Fantastic. Sylvia, Rob, I love the name of the book. Thank you. Thank you. I came up with that myself, so I like it too. But you know how it is when you come up with something, you kind of fall in love with it. You go, I don't know, but so I want input from you guys. I'm not so in love with it that I can't find something better. Khaled, I joined a bit late, so you may have covered this. How will the variety of chapter themes or subject title conflict or complement? So, I mean, that's kind of the idea of the title of the book itself. Khaled, is the title. Going back to that for a moment. I think I'm still sharing my screen, right? So the title is The Expert's Cure, How Entrepreneurs Can and Are Changing the World. And of course, someone had already suggested that the can and should be taken out. It should be just how entrepreneurs are changing the world. So the fact that there are entrepreneurs from all different walks of life actually plays very well into the idea that entrepreneurs, anybody that is an expert and that is entrepreneurial is changing the world in your own little way or big way. And that's kind of the idea, Khaled, is that it's, the title itself, means that we're all going to be complementing it because we're the experts, we're the entrepreneurs that are changing our part of the world. I hope that answers the question. Howard says, thanks. Looking forward to be a part of it. Awesome. Joyce, thanks, Austin. Great. Jeanette, my book's just gone to cold read. I'm asking a couple of people I interviewed to write the forward, looking to know more about how you market it and the cover design. So Joyce, if you are, or Jeanette, if you're asking about how we market our books, I probably don't want to get into that on this call, but you know the answer to that. I mean, we talk about it on a regular basis. We do our soft launch and then the hard launch. The hard launch is our paid advertising and social media and press releases. The soft launch is getting reviews, et cetera. So, and cover design stuff, obviously Steve can help you with that. We have an in-house person and Steve helps with that stuff. So hopefully that makes sense. Tina says, I'm curious about Canadian driven strategy. There seems to be a difference with Amazon.com and Amazon.ca. It seems any Amazon PR up here gets directed to Amazon CA. That is correct. If people are buying it in Canada, then they're going to get directed to Amazon.ca. If people are buying it in India, they're going to get directed to Amazon.in. If people are buying it in the United States and a lot of other places, it's Amazon.com. So that's true in general. When we do a launch, and when we do this launch, we're focused on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. And that, of course, is where we hit the bestseller list for the United States, but also for multiple other countries. And of course, for this particular one, we're trying to hit Wall Street Journal and or USA Today. So we have to focus on .com and BarnesandNoble.com, not on .ca, .in, anywhere else. So hopefully that helps. Colette says, missed that part, but I got it. Great. Awesome. What other questions can I answer for you? I tried to give you a little bit of the, maybe overall picture. I tried to give you some of the thinking behind it so that you could maybe implement some of this in your own business. And then I went over the full agreement as well as went over what you're going to be getting. This is really simple. This is a fit for you if you know that being a Wall Street Journal and or USA Today bestseller and that added credibility will matter in your business. And if you say, I don't think it'll matter, then no reason for you to spend the $6,000 or $7,000 if it's in 2 payments. If you look at that and okay, I'm going to be a multiple, an author of 2 best-selling books or however many you have, and one of them is going to be a Wall Street Journal bestseller, and I can use that credibility in my bio to get speaking engagements, et cetera, et cetera. If you get that, and that is a big deal, then this is a no-brainer. You're exchanging a few $1,000s for that. And if I don't get it for you, I give you your few $1,000s back, and you still have another bestseller out there because we'll certainly hit Amazon bestseller. But holy cow, I'm really going to be praying we hit Wall Street Journal and or USA Today too, because I'm going to be out a lot of money if we don't. So that's all I have for you today. What other questions do you have? And if you don't have any, jump on in.